Howdy, partner. We have to talk about something that's happening a little too frequently in the Digimon community at the moment. So, if you didn't hear, there was another regionals over the weekend, the Dusseldorf one, where the finals players actually cheated at the end of the game. I think there was a little bit of more so a mishap with one of the players, but one of them, I'm just gonna say it, I think he was cheating completely. Now, if you have never played a TCG at all, whatsoever, cheating is like essentially the cardinal sin. You're doing your best to lose all credibility from all of your friends, your family, your loved ones. They'll never look at you the same after you cheat at a card game. Especially Digimon. Like, the prizing's nice, I like it. It's not always the best, but it's nothing compared to something like Riftbound, of course. Now, I'll get into showing all of the footage. I'll even show the LATAM regional one as another fun little one. I'm just kind of gonna riff on both of them, and hopefully it's just a fun little video talking about something that honestly just shouldn't fucking happen. Period. If you've got any cheating stories whatsoever, honestly, comment them down below. I'd love to read these sort of things. I'm a little gossip. I love a little bit of drama. So before I begin and actually show you all the videos of these cheating players, I do want to give two shout outs. One to Shino for sending me the extra footage that Jambo also posted. And two to Nicholas Slack for also just sending me this immediately, giving me as much of the context as possible, because Lord knows I ain't able to research that shit myself sometimes, but so I really appreciate it when people send me stuff and are like, please talk about this, because, you know, it's a cool thing to come together as a community in that sense. All right, so I've got it here. Before we get started, again, I would like to clarify, if you do this on stream, first of all, you're an absolute fucking idiot. But second of all, you're spiritually bold. Now, let's get to watching this. Now, first off, I'm just going to do one run through, see if you can pick where it happens, who does it, whatnot, and then afterwards, I'll show you what it is that actually happens.
End of turn step, because we have to resolve the when Digivolving to do the rush and then attack, and then we are now in open game state. Even if you want to go to end of turn, there is a trigger waiting, and it is that Biting Crush that Jill spent 8 memory on last turn. This allows us to play the Leviamon.
Now, very simple stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I missed it the first time, obviously, because it is very quick. This guy is clearly very good at sleight of hand. It is simple, but let's go through it real quickly again. Okay, I guess I'll turn the sound off. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. So he grabs his trash, he's having a look through. Basically, his Dino Beamon is dying here. He's having a gander because he's in the process of whether or not he's going to use the partition to play out the two bodies. And obviously, as we're looking here, his opponent looks down, he looks at him, and you'll see he takes one card from the trash. It's Dragon Mode Ace specifically, as far as I can tell, and adds it to his hand whilst he puts his trash back, thus just adding a card from your trash to your hand, straight up cheating. And look, one of the things I really want to harp on in this video is specifically intent, and I'll kind of get to that a little bit later, but again, looking at this, you can see that he's taken a card from the trash, it's in the palm of his grip, he lays it over and just pulls it back. That's at 0.25. If you can see that happen while you're sitting across from your opponent, you're thinking about your own plays of like what's next if all of this goes well, I got to applaud you, because this kind of stuff is admittedly incredibly difficult to see. Hence, you know, he got away with it, but unfortunately, you're on stream. You are against the combined autism of the Digimon community, who are able to filter through and see just the most minute things. Props to all of you to be able to see this, because again, I just would not have seen it even on stream, but it's recorded, it's right here. Having a look through, boom, he just grabs it, slides it on top, there it is. Now, one of the things I want to talk about with intent, and we'll have a gander at the Latham one as well before I talk about, intent, I suppose. And this one is such a funny, clip to me as well, especially for the fact that, if you watch up in the top right, you'll see that the security, your shield counter is at 0. And then as he's kind of progressing and triggering all of these effects, I'll see if I could skip forward a little bit, because I think they just do a little bit of play. It goes all the way to 6, and then he starts doing his play. This security counter goes from 0 to 1 because the player on the right, Don, decides to just play a card from his hand down on security. If you're looking at his hand right now as he takes the Paildramon off the top, he's put his hand down kind of ever so softly, and he has laid a card down to be his last security at the same time that he is picking up his Paildramon. And I think that's a really important thing for you to know is you can be this spiritually aware of what's going on at all times through your board state. But if you're playing something like Hoodie, if you're playing any deck, it can be difficult to see these sort of things happen. Your opponent is, all these little things. People are very good at sleight of hand, specifically in card games. I know I am. Not necessarily to do with cheating, but more so that often I have some of my opponents pretty frequently asking me, did I draw for turn? And the answer to that is always yes, because not only do I do it quickly, I do it precisely. It's very much just like a boom. There's the card for turn. If you weren't paying attention to it as I am, flipping up my hatch or moving the memory around, it's super easy to miss just tiny things like that. And again, very easy for somebody like me, considering that I am literally ambidextrous. So I'm able to use both my hands kind of almost equally in terms of the way that I'm not left-handed or right-handed. I'm a combination of both, if you don't know what ambidextrous means. This is kind of a clear example of being able to do something like that. It's a little flimsy, but he's got his hand down. He knows what he was about to do. He places his hand face down to recover 1, and at the same time, he's just taken that extra motor skill, grabbing the Paildramon, chucking it in the bin. Wow. Oh my god, wow, suddenly there's a second security, and he's got to hit through that. You'll see on the left in a second that the player, Rodrigo, actually sees that, now there's an extra security. He just looks a little bummed after that, like he's made the mistake. And then if you look up in the top right corner again, the stream places him back to 1 security in a second. And yeah, Rodrigo on the left is just confused as to what's happening. He's like, oh, I swear you're at 0. Sure, whatever, what am I supposed to say? Back to 1 security and then back to 0 again. So I won't dwell too much on this one because I think everybody has looked through this to death. But this is something that I really want to talk about when it comes to specifically cheating, right? And the difference between making a mistake and intent. A big part of this, and something I think that a lot of people either online or even in your own community can sometimes lose the nuance of, is intent. When we talk about intent in terms of cheating, an important thing to note is that hey, if I were to knock my cards over, if he were to pick up his trash, drop 1 down by accident, and then he looks at his hand and he goes, oh, I think one of these cards was actually meant to be in the trash. Sorry about that. That's a huge marker for intent, considering that you are just making a mistake. I do this all the time. I'm a fucking idiot. Let me just be for real. This is just something that I will accidentally do. Just knock cards around. You'll draw. You'll accidentally knock a second card off, or it'll flip straight over, and you're like, oh well, now I've seen what my next card draw is. Yada yada. This is just making mistakes. The thing that is very clear to me, and not to dissect this video too much, but the thing that is clear to me with this and the Latham one as well in terms of intent is, again, you see that he's looking at his trash for a few seconds, and for me, I'm looking at him. As somebody who is pretty social, I'm looking at him who is looking at his opponent who is not looking in the direction of him, and he knows that his opponent is not looking at what's going on. He knows that his opponent is just having a little gander at what's in his own trash, what's in his next turn, what's coming up. So in this second where he sees that his opponent's looking away, boom, grab that card, chuck it into my hand. My opponent will never be the wiser. Nobody's ever gonna see it. But you're on stream. You're on stream. This is ridiculous that people do this on stream, dog. It baffles my mind that there are people who are just quite frankly comfortable enough doing this either so often or so brazenly that they would do this on stream. And again, I know I'm rehashing the point of like, the Digimon autism, like we've got it on lock. People in card games just see this all the time. Like, it's once you're kind of looking out for this on stream and then you see it, you're gonna scroll down, you're just gonna see plenty of people here just calling out 739, 739, 34, 739. Like people will just see it, and then once one person has seen it, it's kind of hard to unsee it, and then you become a pariah of the community. One little, maybe it was a mistake, maybe him putting a card into his hand was a mistake. Again, he uses that, goes partition, digivolves into the Dragon Mode Ace, and then that is kind of cinching the game from this point. Let's say that was just a mistake, and it's in the finals, but do we have more examples of this? Yes, of course, because cheaters like this don't just do it once. They will do it more than once, over and over, or throughout the course of the day. So I got this from a fella who just messaged me on Discord. His name, Chino. I want to give a shout out to that fella just for, putting this out to me. I've had more than one person just bring this whole situation up to me, and I just want to thank everybody because, these are things that we need to talk about and we need to stamp out, especially, and as much as I can say, hey, fellas, be as vigilant as possible. It is on Bandai mostly to be the one at the end of the day who is bringing the guillotine down on this person. It's fucking ridiculous to me to really put the onus on just the players themselves to catch it. It's a little bit hard to, especially when you are a little bit introverted, to say like, hey man, I noticed that there is one less card in your trash than maybe I saw in your last turn. What's the go with that?
I think.
What the fuck?
A memory on last turn.
Oh my god, that was weird.
Last turn.
I love Twitter. It's so good, right? Couldn't find where that sound was coming on. I don't even know what I was saying anymore. But look, it's not always on the individual. I understand if you're introverted that it's hard to say and to call people out on this behavior. I would do my best to, if I were you, even if you just pose it as a question. Hey, there was a card in your trash, and now there isn't. What's going on with that? I feel like I saw something, because people fold super quickly on this sort of thing as soon as you call them out. And look, these people, they're maidenless. Their lands are going to grow barren, and their seeds will run dry. They are just the scum of the earth, honestly. But let's have a quick gander at another video over here of, lo and behold, the same person on the right. And funnily enough, the same guy on the left, at the back there, which is kind of fun. I'm not sure how much further this is into, the stream, or sorry, not how much further, but how much back it was. I was told by the fellow who sent me this clip initially, and obviously this is a clip from Jambo. I'm sure that he got sent the clip by other people, but this fellow was saying that his team filmed his game one, round one, and that he did this in round one immediately. All right, so let's just quickly go over this clip. I'm not going to dwell heaps on it. I think he has what looks like 2 or 3 cards in trash. Analog Youths puts 2 more cards into the trash, and if you look at his hand on the right here, he's grabbing his trash, has a little gander through it, figures out which one he wants, straight into the hand again. So repeat offender, and this is what I want to talk about specifically with intent is, dog, this isn't something that happens more than once and so quietly and so calmly if it's not intentional. Look, so I'm pretty confident in saying, quite frankly, fuck this guy. I don't want people like this in my community who choose to, intentionally cheat. Mistakes aside, this is a way to just game the system. Red Purple Imperial is already a lottery deck, dog. You do need that extra help, but like, clearly you're getting it from somewhere. I won't dwell any more on this, to be honest. I will say one of the good news that has come out of this, the best that I can ask for currently, is that Bandai has responded to this. Yep, I've got it incredibly poorly cropped for you here, but Bandai has responded because of the people's outcries, because there has already been many people who have decided to talk about this, but just reading this one now. Attention Digimon tamers, we are aware of reports regarding alleged misconduct at the Digimon Card Game World Championship 25-26 Europe Finals and are currently verifying the facts and conducting internal discussions. Thank you for your patience for further updates regarding this. Now, what is interesting here, and I won't get your hopes up and say that this guy is going to get completely banned. I think that there is a chance he will get banned, but more importantly, it is to note that sometimes when these sort of things happen, they'll do like a match loss. I don't know how they're going to take back his prizing because this is past already. I don't know how they're going to take back his prizing, but if he were to be banned in Digimon, he is banned across all Bandai games. So he will not be playing Dragon Ball. He will not be playing Gundam. So that is an incredibly important factor to note in this. Whether or not he is actually banned, I'm not sure if Bandai is going to be super heavy on the hammer with this one. I'm not actually sure if we've seen this like brazen a case before, so I'd be curious to see what happens. Honestly, all I can say is stay safe out there and keep an eye on your opponents. Everybody has a little bit of sleight of hand in them. We are card game players. Don't demonize people immediately. There's not much of a reason that you should go around just immediately just being like, this guy's a cheater, because then you're gonna have beef with everybody. I don't want people being paranoid. Editor Dane here. I also just want to really heavily clarify that despite being a little bit aggressive about this guy during this whole video, I do not endorse any of you going after this person. I really don't want people attacking him, either personally or, just going after him online. Don't do that. That's not cool. That's not what we stand for. And these are just words that I say out of my own opinion and just for the fun of, being a bit theatrical. Just want to clarify that. But yeah, keep an eye out for it. Make sure you stay safe and you don't let this sort of thing happen. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Huge shout out again to the people who sent this to me to talk about it, because I wasn't going to talk about it at first, but might as well. I have a bit of a platform, so I think it's worth shutting this sort of thing down as quickly as possible before it becomes any sort of a trend. But yeah, thank you again for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. See ya.